Hey guys, some gamer dude here. Another week of spoilers for Prelude to Ataraxia, more terrifying power creep. Yay! I really regret my review now. Nevertheless, let's get started. As we all knew, Sylvia, everyone's favourite dragon lady, is back. Surprisingly, she's only a super rare. Really expected her to be a marvelous rare. She's a 700/700 Wind Fire Minion Dragonoid Resonator with Swiftness for red-green. Another card above curve for absolutely no reason. Why did they do this? Was it really necessary? I know they wanted a return on their investment, and this is a much bigger investment than the last three sets, but they didn't have to invest so much. A better mix of new and old would have sufficed. Even with that, none of the cards that are above curve stats would have been bad or undesirable had they been on curve. This is entirely unnecessary. She could pay Moon to gain plus 300 attack. Kinda thinking Black Moon's Memoria will come back. Maybe it'll be in this video. I'm writing now as these cards go up, so I don't have to rush the day I make the video. Then she has her limit break. She gains plus 300 flying, and when she attacks, she deals damage equal to her attack to target J Resonator your opponent controls. 1000 damage, up to whatever you need, against whatever you want dead, as soon as she hits the board. This is most assuredly that killer minion Lapis needed. All that minion support is looking really good right now. Luckily there are answers against her, but it doesn't make her feel any better. Thankfully she doesn't have barrier, but she's a horribly oppressive card. Oh, and in Gill Lapis, she doesn't cost red-green. She costs whatever you want to pay for her. Sylvia's Burning Flame is a quick cast, fire, mage Art Chant for red. Choose one if you have Sylvia's limit break. Choose up to 2 instead. Target J Resonator gains plus 800 attack, first strike, precision and pierce for the duration of the turn. Or deal 800 damage to the target J Resonator. Well, that's more power creep. Tiger Charge, which had already been power crept past by Alexa's Fighting Spirits, doubled statistically, able to target a J-Ruler, and with 2 more keywords. Seems a bit overboard. I wish that Foul had more combat tricks and this is that, but this is too much. It's too much power, too many keywords. The 800 damage I'm not too concerned about. Can't target a player, and hits up to an old 3-drop, it's fine. Kind of think Thunder should be power crept up to 600 anyway. It's based on very old stats. Lenneth the Dark Priestess is a 1000/1000 Darkness minion with Drain and Bane for Black Moon. Another card above curve, wish we had flavor text to explain why she's evil, and with Gill Lapis now. Good keywords, should keep your life up. Bit risky to block a Death Toucher. Limit break, she gains flying and barrier from resonators, as well as an enter ability to destroy a regalia, kill all strangers, or reveal a 12 apostle from outside the game and put it into the field. The limit break is really good. More oppression from Gill Lapis. Yay. But not horribly so. Lenneth is also a marvelous rare. I think that Sylvia deserved that more. I said that last time. Sylvia is vastly more terrifying. It'll be interesting to see which of the 12 apostles are in this set, so no opinion on that just yet. But I don't like her tutoring from the side deck. That's historically been fairly toxic to any game it's used in, and a far sight better than using the Stranger deck. Nevertheless, Lenneth is actually fairly decent if you can get her out without an enter limit break. Death Touch Lifelink is not something people will want to block. Just a side note, it just hit me that King of Kings and Save the Queen were above curve too. Probably not noticeable on them because they weren't terribly overbearing cards. Dark Summoning is a quick cast Darkness Moon Art Chant for black. Draw a card. Yes, that's literally its entire effect. You don't want to use it unless you have the limit break for Lenneth. Then you can get anything from your deck, it's fine. Demonic Tutor as an instant for 1 less and without a restriction. It's super strong, but I think the restriction kinda balances it out. Should it have been a total of 2? Probably. But I think the restriction is enough. Unless Limit Break gets easier to do, unshackled from Gill Lapis and his regalia? I think it's restricted enough. Allosaurus, Minion of Lapis, is our next card. In retrospect, after Sylvia, Allosaurus and Blazer are rather obvious now. A 600/600 fire minion resonator for red. He's at least on curve. Huzzah! Enter effect of removing up to 4 counters. While he does affect a fair amount of cards judging by a search of the database for the word counter, he's actually a counter for pressure. He removes her friendship counters. Everything else Allosaurus can target isn't so commonly played, stuff like Snow White and Cinderella. If you have his limit break, it becomes a 1-drop and distributes +100/+100 counters to all of your J resonators for each counter he removed. Now, the interesting thing here is, with Allosaurus, is that he can combo with himself. If you can produce counters in any way, then have his limit break before you summon him, you can turn those counters into 4 +100/+100 counters across your board, then summon another, remove 4, and give everyone 4. This guy is actually really cool. Up there with Miria from last video. I actually like Allosaurus. Distortion Phenomenon is Allosaurus' companion spell. A Darkness Chant Moon Art for black. Use the automatic ability of a ruler named Gill Lapis you control. If you have Allosaurus' limit break, you can use the J-Ruler side too. The base is okay. I think it's pretty good for the top 3 search and triggering Miria. But the clearer use is activating limit breaks super early. Turn 1. Get those limit breaks nice and ready. However, the limit break is bonkers. Gill Lapis' J-Ruler enter effect. 1 black to summon any minion from your deck, regardless of its original cost. That's insane. Many of these cards are very strong. Lenneth and Sylvia are especially strong. It really does start to make this deck much like Dark Alice, a utility toolbox. I'm not terribly sure that's a wholly positive thing, however. If a deck can do too much, which I do think Dark Alice and Gill Lapis are leaning on, it's a bit format warping. Blazer, Minion of Lapis, is a Darkness 400/400 minion with precision for black. That's fine, on curve, good start, just a solid keyword. Then he limit breaks and becomes a 1200/1200 with first strike and precision. He also gains an effect wherein if he is banished by one of your card's abilities, you can just allocate that 1200 power however you like as damage to your opponent's J resonators. Probably will only kill 1 or 2 cards, but hey, it's still killing them. 1200 is enough to kill most J-Rulers prior to this set. However, an ability to banish him, that's not so easy to do. Chants aren't abilities. Regardless, this is a 1200/1200 precision first striker, turn 2. Or turn 1 if you're going second, not that it matters because he can't attack till turn 2 anyway. That's perfect for just picking off whatever your opponent summons. I think it's good that control for this card exists, because it's quite oppressive if you can't. You won't be able to get a board, and Judgment will just result in a dead J-Ruler. Blazer's Art of Slaughter, a Darkness Quickcast Moon Art Chant for black, forces each player to banish a resonator. This leads some to think Blazer himself might have an error on him. He should read effect, not ability, so he can be triggered off this and cards like Soul Hunt. They seem to be made for each other, but don't interact. If you have Blazer's limit break, you can choose both of the resonators and they are banished instead. Yes, this gets around barrier. I wonder if Forceville's dev team does realise how annoying barrier can be. There has been a ton of hate this set and a fair chunk last set. If it doesn't work with Blazer, it's fine, it's got its uses. Again, barrier. Not a terrible card, it's quite decent. Might prefer Soul Hunt though, as you can go 2 for 1 if you use a card that activates from the discard. If it does work with Blazer, yeah, pick off something with Blazer, banish one of theirs, then spread Blazer's effect around to kill the rest. It might end up 2 for 3 or 4. It's very strong if it works. So my mate was right. Lapis Darkstorm got reprinted. It's now a moon art though. Super cheap 1 for 2, since you can just tap World Ender into it. My mate called this one right. As of writing, I'm expecting Black Moon Memoria, Black Moonbeam, and Ruler's Memoria. They all fit the set's themes. Next up is End of the World, a Darkness Chant Moon Art for Black Moon. Modular effect, choose one of 4 effects. If you have the Gill Lapis limit break, choose 4. Yes, 4. And this can easily go off turn 3 because of World Ender. 1. Your opponent banishes 2 Resonators. 2. Draw 2 cards. 3. Your opponent discards 2 cards. 4. Resurrect 2 Resonators from your grave. Remember, you can choose the same effect twice. You can totally just rip all of your opponent's assets away. Bleeping bleep. On turn 3, you can reasonably banish all of your opponent's remaining Resonators and discard their entire hand. Their only safe cards are Additions and Regalia. You can remove 8 cards from their control. Remember, Gill Lapis works the same way. You can choose the same option twice. You can turn 1 go for Blazer, turn 2 World Ender, get Gill and Blazer's limit breaks, get Blazer to start hunting down their board. Then turn 3 decimate them with End of the World. This is vastly worse than any statistical power creep. If you aren't playing black for Soul Hunt and Dark Alice's Smile, just to start trying to prevent this from happening, good luck. I don't even think it'd be easy for Rezard to come back from this. I do get they want their investment back, but this seems too much. Where do you go from this? This doesn't even seem like an Oko we didn't test it scenario. This feels more deliberately pushed to be as strong as possible. I'm going to be making a video of me eating crow, aren't I? Pitch Black Minion is a 700/700 Darkness Minion Resonator for Black 2. When he enters, you get a limit break. So here we go. Something to do with limit break outside of Gill Lapis, and it's incredibly slow. I'm not sure there is any limit break you'd be okay with setting off this late. I'm not sure any of them are of such high quality that it would make this card worth running. Nice art though. Matt is one of my favourite Force of Will artists. Probably is my favourite. Necromancer is, wow. Haven't seen art like that for Force of Will in a long time now. It's Sylvia's artist alright, but she doesn't show this much skin. Necromancer is a 700/700 Wind Darkness Minion Resonator for green black. Enter ability to remove all Resonators from target player's graveyard, and then Necromancer gains a +100/+100 counters equal to the amount of Resonators removed. Direct counter for Rezard in Rezard's colours. But why though? Removing the discard is a black trait, and +100/+100 counters have turned up in black multiple times before. I kind of suspect the green here is just to give Gill Lapis his own. Minions can have their attribute paid for with any will more use, and just be insulting to Rezard. Interesting that she's a Necromancer and stops necromancy. I think something like this needed to exist. I like the art, just think it should have been mono black. So Black Moonbeam doesn't seem to be coming back. Instead we get Black Moonray, an obvious allusion to the beam. A Darkness quick cast Moon Art Chant for black. Destroy target J-Ruler or Stranger. If you pay Moon to awaken it, it can't be chased. As of writing, I'm still expecting Black Moon Memoria, which would make this card essentially a better Black Moonbeam in that it can hit Strangers too. It's not like you can't run a couple of Black Moon Memoria to have Moon anyway. If we don't, and it's just World Ender to produce Moon, it's just a better Black Moonbeam for Lapis. I do think J-Ruler hate needs to exist. Everything needs an answer, but the answer needs to be appropriate for what it's an answer to. J-Rulers are a one-time deal unless they have Imperishable, and killing them can be game-winning. Black Moonbeam was made with Leviathan and Excalibur in mind, as they can give J-Rulers Imperishable at instant speed, hence why it can't be chased. But it was too undercosted as a whole. I think this card should have been made a little more expensive, around 4 total with the Awakening. Black 1 base cost. Making strictly inferior cards for standard when the original was a problem, and gone is a good decision. Finally, we have the Curse of Caduceus, a Darkness edition for black. Your opponent can't gain life and can't recover entities by effects, only during the recover phase. Finally, you can tap it to have your opponent lose 200 life. That is a strictly superior Certo, more power creep. Only affects one player, does more, and you can just tap it for life drain instead of it being a triggered effect. But considering Certo wasn't played, I don't mind. I like the theming here. Caduceus, or the Staff of Hermes, is used to represent the medical profession in America, albeit incorrectly, look it up. So the corruption of that prevents life gain. Given Lenneth was originally a messenger, the actual meaning of Caduceus, I'm unsure if this was planned originally or noticed later on and capitalized upon. I actually like this card in Dark Atlas. I already said that I think Dark Atlas could make a mean life drain deck via cards like Shadow 10. Its effect can drain your opponent completely for 20 darkness crystals. Now you can lower that count by tapping this to whittle your opponent down and prevent them from gaining life. Up to 800 life for nothing a turn is pretty good in my books. I like it quite a bit. At least we ended on a card I liked. This week has made me feel like I'll be eating crows soon. I still stand by Alice Origins 1 through 3. I like those sets a lot. But the unnecessary power creep in Alice Origins 4 is bothering me a lot. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.